This is Sweden's extreme cold high-speed train, certified for express rail services in Arctic conditions. Today, I'm going to be taking this exciting train on an international journey from Oslo, Norway to Stockholm, Sweden, showing you the typical Scandinavian-style interior, including the onboard bistro and some of its more unusual features too. So join me as I cross this freezing cold border on an amazing high-speed train. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here in Oslo and I'm going to be travelling with SJ, the Swedish Railways, over to Stockholm. I'll be travelling on board their international high-speed train, so it's going to be an interesting journey. Let's go! Good morning from Oslo, the capital of Norway, and currently the only international destination of SJ's high-speed trains. Oslo Central is a fairly modern station, opening in 1980 as part of a plan to connect the two railway networks each side of the city. It's located on the site of the historic East Station, with much of the old building visible off to the side, and we'll go into what this is used for nowadays later on. But for now, let's head inside and have a look around. We're met with a modern interior, much like that of an airport, featuring many small shops to grab a snack or drink, as well as other essentials. And even the Espresso House, the most popular cafe chain in the Nordics, which I must admit I am a big fan of. Though of course other meal options are available in the station, and if that's not enough, then there's an adjacent mall too. The station has little else except shops and restaurants, to be honest, with this tiny ticket office being one of few in the country. Most journeys here are pre-booked online. And as promised, here is the old East Station, now a small shopping complex featuring even more shops and restaurants, easily the best place to sit and unwind before a train journey. Oslo Central sees service to most other parts of the Norwegian railway network. There are a lot of departures here every hour. Of course, the city has a high-speed airport shuttle train, complete with a high price tag, while local trains around the city are operated by Vy, the national operator of Norway. Domestic long-distance trains, though, have been franchised out, much like the system used in the UK, with services run by Vy, Go Ahead and SJ Nord. Only time will tell if this system is a success. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. My train is the 11:42 service to Stockholm Central, one of the SJ Snabbtåg or high-speed services operated by the Swedish national operator. This is one of 5 daily trains to Stockholm, with 2 instead being operated by these massive old loco hauled sets, which are built like a tank. But my service is one of SJ's newest high-speed trains, the X55. It's part of the Regina family of trains, built by Bombardier, a popular design that has seen use all over Sweden, making it a staple of the European railway scene. But the largest operator of the type is actually China Railway, who have 148 of them on many of its less prestigious high-speed services. This X55 has 4 carriages, and is capable of 250 kilometers an hour. And while we're here, note the distinctive flashing red lights, standard operating procedure for railways in Sweden. I'll be travelling in second class today, for one big reason that I'll explain later on. This is in a 2+2 layout, mostly in airline style, but with a few tables throughout. And I've got to say, the minimalist Scandinavian style interior really does look smart. I'll be travelling today in coach 3, seat 48. Today's route sees us heading east across the border into Sweden, before running through smaller towns and cities on the way to the Gothenburg to Stockholm main line for a speedy trip to the capital. Journey time is scheduled to be 5 hours and 27 minutes, covering 570 kilometers or about 354 miles. We depart on time at 11:42, gliding out of the Norwegian capital's main station and onto the snow-coated railway junctions just outside of it. There was something really beautiful about our departure from Oslo, passing buildings that brought colour to an otherwise all-white scene. However, this didn't last long, and soon enough we enter the long tunnel of the Gardermoen high-speed line, a route opening in 1999 connecting the city at 210 kilometers an hour with the airport and surrounding commuter towns. The first of these is here in Lillestrøm. These towns were previously only reached by a much slower route above ground, a line still used by commuter trains like the one shown here. So as we head out into the freezing cold wilderness, let's take a look around this train's interior. Second class is in a 2+2 layout, but with one small yet very annoying quirk, even if first impressions are very positive. These seats are super comfortable, featuring a contoured base with lots of padding. There's also great ergonomic support with a strong winged headrest. Wide armrests can be found between each seat, folding down like so. Legroom is very generous for second class, and there's plenty of room to stretch out even on longer journeys. On the seat in front, you'll find a large folding table, featuring a small groove for holding a drink. However, I prefer the dedicated drinks holder, which gives you more space. Down here, there's a storage net for personal items. This also contains the Swedish Railway's onboard magazine, Coupe. As you'd expect, this was all in Swedish, but I did enjoy the route map and SJ's fleet list. These comfortable seats also have a recline function, controlled by pulling this lever and sliding forwards. And this made an already great seat even better. Outside, it's a real winter wonderland, with partially frozen rivers and snow-coated evergreen trees. This is the Glomma, Norway's largest river by length and volume. We'll be staying close to this as far as Kongsvinger, our first stop. Or should I say our first planned stop. This international railway is a single-track line, and so we make a stop in Røros to allow a commuter train through. So despite this being a 250 km/h capable high-speed train, most of our journey so far has been much slower. Indeed, this section of the journey in Norway does not exceed 130 km/h, with the fastest sections being still to come, across the border in Sweden. In fact, this is such a rural route that it even has a number of closed stations, such as Setestua. This station closed in 2012 following a timetable change and saw around 6 passengers per day prior to its closure. Our journey through this picturesque landscape continues smoothly, the train slowly working its way towards the first station stop, Kongsvinger, already 1 hour 10 minutes from Oslo and our only intermediate stop within the territory of Norway. One of the region's main industries is timber, and you can expect to see many freight trains carrying wood around the country, as well as loading stations with stacks of logs. The Solu line branching off here is one of the busiest routes for this sort of traffic, with plans to electrify the freight-only line in the future. And about 20 minutes later, we cross the border into Sweden. Despite Norway not being in the EU, it is still a part of the Schengen area, so most passengers won't even notice the border crossing happen. There are no border checks or formalities to mention. Our first stop in Sweden is the small town of Arvika. The town is actually twinned with Kongsvinger, our previous station back in Norway. It's also home to the most inland harbour in all of Sweden, with a system of canals linking it to the North Sea. Right, it's now lunchtime and I'm beginning to get pretty hungry, so let's pay a visit to the onboard bistro. The SJ Bistro is located in car 3. While it's not quite a restaurant car, there's a good selection of hot meals on offer, alongside a range of drinks and snacks. All hot drinks are also self-serve, with a single member of staff present to take payments. I went for this excellent vegetable lasagna with a hot chocolate. And despite my expectations, the price was reasonable too, with the total being 100 Swedish krona. Best of all, if you keep and reuse the cup, refills of hot drinks are free of charge. This is Karlstad, situated upon Lake Vänern, the third largest lake in Europe. The city is the capital of the Värmland county, here in the west of Sweden, and is where our journey finally begins getting a bit faster. But now, let me tell you something about these trains that really annoys me. The Regina family uses an extra wide body shell, allowing for dense 2+3 seating on regional services. So when SJ ordered these for high-speed long-distance trains, they of course fitted 2+2 seating. However, instead of leaving a nice wide aisle, the seats are really far away from the wall, making it harder to look out of the window properly, but also makes the seat feel really exposed and not at all private. Also, these seats were in a terrible condition. Many of them were heavily soiled and threadbare, resulting in an unpleasant scratchy texture. We joined the Gothenburg to Stockholm main line in the town of Laxå, situated exactly halfway between the two cities. As we speed towards the Swedish capital, let's take a look around the rest of the train. This is second class calm, sort of a quiet zone on the train, but sold at an additional charge. Though the tickets do also include free tea and coffee, as well as breakfast on early morning trains that can be collected from the bistro. And as promised, here's first class. It's also in a 2+2 layout, but with wider seats, meaning there's no annoying gap by the windows. There's also a tea and coffee station in the coach, and breakfast is served at your seat on early morning departures. Personally, I don't think this first class is particularly good value, especially as it has the same seating layout as the very good second class that I travelled in. And this first class was priced at 3 times what I paid, though more on that later. Car 4 features the train's wheelchair spaces, and even has a rotating lift to allow passengers to board from low platforms, as shown here. 6 toilets are found throughout the train, and I found they were in good condition during the journey. Soap and water were provided, and working well, with paper towels to dry your hands. And as we approach Hallsberg, take a look at these failed Austrian locomotives. Introduced in 1996, these futuristic-looking machines were abandoned just 10 years later in Austria and eventually exported to Sweden, where they now sit abandoned once again. Here on the Gothenburg to Stockholm main line, our train speeds through south-central Sweden, passing many frozen lakes and forests as we run at up to 200 kilometers an hour. These trains are equipped with power sockets at every seat, with 2 conveniently being found between the seats for easy access. There's also free Wi-Fi, which, while easy to connect to, was pretty slow. Each window has a sunblind. Unusually, this was located outside of the window frame and had to be secured to one of the pegs. This weird design is common in Scandinavia, though rarely seen anywhere else. This train has a fantastic dim ambience, making for a super cozy and relaxed feel, especially after dark or in tunnels. There were also individual reading lights, though these weren't working for some reason. Luggage storage is available in the deep overhead luggage racks, as well as in the luggage stacks next to the doors, though I personally like to keep my luggage nearby. There are coat hooks fitted on the back of each seat, and as a result of the seat being so far away from the window, smaller personal items can be kept next to you. Lastly, instead of having individual bins at the seats, SJ provides a pack of plastic bags for you to take your rubbish with you. Now let's talk about how much this journey cost. I booked a non-flexible ticket about 2 months ahead, which cost me 260 Swedish krona. This does include a 15% youth discount, but I think this is still excellent value for money for such a high-quality train between 2 capitals. The SL Pendeltåg is a sign we're fast approaching Stockholm, with these modern light grey trains forming the fleet of the city's commuter railway. And not long later, we cross the iconic Riddarfjärden, arriving into a busy Stockholm Central in peak time, 13 minutes late at 17:22. Overall, I really enjoyed my journey on the SJ X55 high-speed train. Despite the minor design issues, it was comfortable, visually impressive, and has good facilities on board. But not all of SJ's trains are as impressive as this one, as I took a disappointing ride on a double-deck intercity train and found one of the worst first-class carriages I've ever seen, a journey you can see by clicking up here now.